Crows Club presents B-Side Breakdown.
Hey everyone, welcome to the B-Side Breakdown. My name is Brett Johnson and I'm your host. This is episode 14 of a podcast where I talk with other artists, musicians, and songwriters about a song they've written or had a hand in writing in that's particularly meaningful to them, and ideally we discuss it and get deep into the why behind it. Also, as a part of this, they give me permission to play this song in its entirety in this episode, so we got that going for us. Today I'm going to be talking to Ian Prince from a Minneapolis band called Houston. He's also been in a ton of other projects. I've watched him perform in various bands for the past 25 years. He's a fantastic drummer, and I look forward to talking with him about the Houston song San Diego. So let's get into it. Here is the song San Diego by Houston.
Outside, so pack your warmies with your things. They say upper 60s, but out here they're never close at all. She said, oh my, we'll have to see what this year brings. I can't make promises except to rock somewhere in California.
right, and that was the song San Diego by the band Houston. I got Ian Prince coming in a minute, so please stay with us and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So let's bring in Ian and see what he's got to say about the song San Diego and anything else he's working on. Hey, Ian, thanks for taking the time to talk with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's I'm just super excited that there's a new Houston record that came out in September. And for all the listeners that don't know, if for some reason you don't know about Houston, Houston had a set of records in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then came back together, as far as I know, recently. And I love to hear about that too. But I love the song, and it's super fun to hear, and it's something I hadn't heard yet. So I'd like to turn it back to you. Just tell me, why did you want to talk about San Diego today?
Well, this song in specific is the only song on the record that we all hashed out in a room together. And I think it really shows. The rest of the record, it was all done over the pandemic, so we did a lot of file sharing,
Sure.
and working collectively that way. But this song was done together in the practice space, with it started out with Lane's kind of bass riff, and we just went from there. And I just it kind of reminds me of how the band first started. And I kind of refer to this song as the mission statement on the record, sort of for all those reasons.
Got it.
Yeah.
So when did the comeback together start? I mean, did it start in the pandemic? Was it pre-pandemic, or when did you guys kind of regroup?
Well, it was pre-pandemic. I think in 2019, we had gotten together to record what ended up being an EP that we released earlier this year. There were a handful of songs that we had never recorded or released from when we were originally a band.
Mm-hmm.
And I threw it out to those guys, just to see if they'd want to get together and just for posterity's sake, go in and have a version of those songs. I thought it would be cool. And based on that experience, it kind of made us want to just keep doing more.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what was the name of that record, and when did it come out?
It came out in March of this year.
Okay.
On Init Records.
Yep.
And it is called Every Branch on Its Way Down.
Got it. Cool. And so Init Records, now have they started reissuing kind of your older catalog as well? Is that part of kind of what's going on with you guys? Are you re-releasing some of the older stuff?
Yeah, that's next up. Is Steven wants to reissue all the old stuff, which is how we first started talking with him.
Okay.
He wanted to put out Overhead, our first record.
Sure.
And then told him we were working on some new stuff, and he was excited by that. And it ended up being a really positive thing. Steven's great to work with, and an awesome dude all around. I think you know Steven, right?
Yeah. I know him from years ago when I was in Drop Nickel doing Blue Room Records in the late 90s, and he helped book us in shows in Mankato, I think. And yeah, Steven's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, he's awesome. That's awesome that he's doing that. I was also, frankly, really excited to see, like, on Bandcamp that there was this, Overhead remaster, and I was like, oh wow, that's super fun to hear, and to get like WAV files again of that old CD that frankly, I've misplaced a lot of CDs over the years, so it's fun to really hear those old songs again too. So then
we made it.
Go ahead.
It was all that stuff was really difficult to find. So it is nice to finally give it all a home. Bandcamp is so awesome
For sure.
For that reason alone. But yeah.
So I saw that. So Speaking of Bandcamp, and for all the listeners that want to go get Houston's music, so there's a couple different places though to go, right? So the Init Records has its own kind of stamp on Bandcamp somewhere, and then Houston as a band has its own. So is it
Correct.
can you get to both places from each other, or is it kind of two separate URLs that I should post up so people know where to go?
Yeah, I think that it is two separate URLs. Yep.
And so going back to kind of traditionally how I recall you guys recording, definitely I would suspect it was Jeff kind of at the helm, doing a lot of the engineering and mixing potentially, and kind of self-recording. So I remember hearing about how I think Overhead was recorded, I think in someone's apartment or in someone's house, kind of in different rooms. And it was just one of those things. Is the Biggest Shove in Space, was that done in a different studio, or was that done kind of in your practice space, or where did you guys record this? Or again, was it just all everybody recorded independently and it was a file sharing kind of thing, except for the song San Diego?
Yeah, it was all just doing it on our own at our Jeff was the head guy. He is responsible for pulling it all together, but we would record our own parts at home and do it that way, including San Diego. We wrote that in a room together, but when it came time to record it, I tracked it at home. And yeah, it was all just pandemic stuff, just files going back and forth. And I don't even know that we thought it was going to be a record. I thought we were just kind of writing songs, and we all got Logic Pro, so it'd make it easy to share, so we're not going back and forth. I think Jeff was working with Reaper, and I had Pro Tools for a while, and Lane's the Logic Pro guy, and I made the switch to Logic, and I never looked back. And but yeah, it just made things really, really simple and streamlined.
Did you ever work in Reaper as well?
I never did, no.
Okay.
I think Jeff might have mixed it in Reaper, but everything else was done in Logic.
Got it. Yeah, because Jeff hit me to Reaper a long time ago, and I've sworn by it ever since, but I've never tried Logic. I should check that out. That keeps coming up. I hear more and more musicians that are using that, certainly over Pro Tools, but
definitely. Yeah, I got so fed up with Pro Tools with having the I mean, yeah, I don't need to go there, but yeah, Logic's awesome. That's great.
Cool. So then what's next with this record? I know it came out, and it's, again, with me not living in Minneapolis and sort of being off a bit of a radar in the social space, I'm not necessarily always aware of what's going on with, some of my favorite hometown bands. But what are you guys doing? Is there a tour coming up? Are you guys going that direction, or what are you guys thinking you're doing with it? Or is it just the record's out? And I think vinyl got pressed. Is that right?
Vinyl got pressed. Yeah. Cassettes, CDs. Steven really went all out. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of merch to sell.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the record's out. And then we're gonna work on these reissues, and that's about all I know.
Okay, got it. So then, what have you been doing outside of Houston for the past 20 years?
Oh, just the past 20 years.
Just that. In broad strokes. Like I know there was Story of the Sea, and I know there was kind of some other stuff, but I wasn't really clear, like kind of where you've been or what you've been up to musically.
Sure. Yeah. I think I've always had one main band, and then had like other projects simultaneously. Like Story of the Sea was my main band for 10 years after Houston broke up.
Yep.
And then during that time, I played with Kid Dakota and the Dames for a bit, and did some other things. And then when Story of the Sea broke up, I ended up playing with Porcupine.
Right.
believe you guys used to
Yep.
play together. Um, and then that ended up going for almost 10 years, maybe 8 or something. It's still a band. Casey, the singer, is still
Yeah.
going with all new dudes. But I did that for a long time, and uh played a little bit with like Cloud Cult and Soul Asylum, just kind of hired gun stuff.
Sure. And Cloud
And
Cult's
my
based out of Duluth, right?
not really. He's Craig is out in, where is that? That's sort of hippie town outside of Madison, Viroqua.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, but I think he lived in Duluth for a bit.
Got it. Because a friend of mine from Illinois turned me on to them and kept referring to them being from Duluth, and so that was interesting. I didn't realize that you played with Cloud Cults.
Yeah, just I bet I played 20 shows or something with him.
Got it.
I was too loud for that band.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing. I mean, it could
Yeah,
happen.
I sort of have one volume. I don't know. Um, it's all good though.
Right on, man. Well, I look forward to hearing more of what you guys are working on. And if it's all right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and find out what you're working on next and what's coming down the pipeline for you.
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, and we're back with Ian Prince. Hey, Ian, so what are you working on now? Do you got some other projects you're working on or anything else?
Sure. Well, I have a two-piece band called BIRDHANDS that I'm
Yeah.
um always excited about, and we've got a handful of shows coming up next week. And by the time this airs, I'm sure it will have happened. But we're going out for a few days with that band Pelican,
Oh, awesome.
which I'm stoked. And it's just me and Al, and we have a great time.
That's
Um,
super awesome.
yeah, it's a little more a lighthearted band. We're serious when we get up there, but we don these white jumpsuits, and it's a little silly.
Sure.
But at the same time, it thoroughly rocks. And but yeah, it's probably the most fun project I've had. I'm excited by the prospect of another Bird Hands record, because the last one was so fun to make. And I've been giving that a lot of thought, and working on a lot of ideas of my own in my basement, which I kind of always am doing.
Sure.
And I mean, this might be you gotta have something to do over the winter.
Sure.
And I think this might be the winter where I try to maybe pull together a quote unquote solo record, whatever
Fun.
that looks. Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of weird different things, and I'd like to kind of focus in on it and put together a collection that works, as maybe an EP or a full length album.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, please share more about that. So what instrumentation? I mean, I've always known you as a drummer, and um and there's this, what I've always appreciated about your drumming style, no matter the project I've seen you in, is that there's this clear authenticity of you as a drummer that always shows up, but you're never forcing. I've never experienced you trying to force this, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, to me, for example, I love Dave Lombardo from Slayer as a drummer, and he's super fun, but he's Dave Lombardo from Slayer in every band he's in. Like, it doesn't matter to me. He's in Phantomas, you're Dave Lombardo from Slayer. Like, that's how it always is. But it's like, I remember specifically seeing you in Houston and this different passion and vibe that you brought to it. It was such a departure from that energy in Story of the Sea, which I thought was awesome, that it was still like this. You're being, I mean, it's clearly, yeah, that's Ian playing drums, but it's Ian doing Ian in this context. And it's really like you bring yourself to it, which I thought is is really great. So knowing you as a drummer like that, I didn't know what other instruments you play. So, I mean, what else do you play? Do you play guitar? Do you play keys?
Guitar. I mean, not. I will. I struggle to even call myself a guitar player because I'm, you know, proficient at best. But yeah, I just like I use it as a creative tool. I probably play more guitar honestly than I do drums these days. And like once I have something down, then I know what to do. Uh, I that's kind of the exciting part is getting a riff or kind of a song idea, because then sitting down behind the drums is the easy bit. Um,
Sure. Sure.
so I've got a lot of half finished ideas, and some are closer to being done than others. Um, and a lot of that has to do with like I'm always willing to kind of spend more time on a project that I'm working on with other people, because I feel like I'm like accountable to them or something, and with my own stuff, the follow through isn't always there, because it doesn't have to be, like no one's waiting for it. But I that's one of my personal goals, is to actually finish a thought finally with a lot of this stuff, and just kind of put it out there, and move on to other ideas, like
Yep.
I think it's all kind of starting to pile up, and um yeah, I'd kind of like to clear some of that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that. I certainly understand that dynamic. I mean, during the pandemic, right, it was easy for me to, and my friends Megan and Shane are an Americana country band they're from Arizona, moved to Nashville, now they live in St. Louis. But like, hey, will you record on this? It's like, sure. And then someone else is reaching out, hey, will you send me a bass track for this? It's like, sure. And
Yeah.
it's easy for me to do all that. I can turn it around in an hour and a half. Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, sure, hold on, let me just crank it up, and here it is, and I'll get it to you. Tell me what you think, and we'll edit whatever. But yeah, finish my own song, right? It takes me forever. Like I started a project in Minneapolis back in like 2015, and finally I got something released formally, I think at the beginning of this year. And I've lived in South Carolina for the past 3 years. It's like, it's been so hard to, I loved how you said finish the thought, like to get it done, get
Yeah.
it out, and just move on. It's like, yeah, this is a body of work that was rumbling around in me, and I needed to kind of put some finality and closure to it. And great, here it is, and now it's done. And okay, good, next, and then get on to the next
Exactly.
thing. So I totally
Yeah.
relate to that.
Yeah. Forward motion.
Definitely. Well, I'm
Yeah.
excited to hear it, man. That's cool. That's
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we'll see what I settle on, because
sure.
it's sort of all over the place. I mean, I've got a lot of rock stuff naturally, and then but I have a lot of weird shit, and then some prettier stuff too. I don't know.
Sure.
And I don't know if I should just focus on a collection that is all very cohesive, or if it should be kind of a grab bag, or what. But
Right.
I'll figure it out.
No, I hear you. I've been writing in a bunch of different directions myself, and I sort of feel like there's more will be revealed about it. Like as I kind of continue down the process, it's like these things will just become obvious as to how they fit together, and I'm doing my best to try not to worry about it, and just like,
yeah, to be determined. Yeah.
like I'm really on trying to do some bluegrassy stuff, and that's like in this weird direction that I've never written in, and so I'm like,
Sure.
I'm going into it, and it's fun, but I'm approaching it in a different way. And kind of with that, I wanted to ask you like sort of about your creative process, because I mean, as you're writing in these sort of different genres other than rock, in some other capacity or in some other direction, where do you find yourself starting? Is it usually, I mean, I know, like you said, you're playing more guitar than drums, but do you have like where does it kind of, the genesis of a new song kind of come for you? Is it just noodling on something and then all of a sudden it falls together on the guitar, or could it be from
Usually
a
that.
host of places? Okay. Got it.
Yeah, usually that. I'll oftentimes have ideas in my head, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm never able to get them out. I'll try to find it on the guitar, and I think it's just my lack of skill that I'm not able to find it. But usually, what happens if I go searching for something that I hear in my head, I'll end up stumbling upon something else, anyways.
Sure.
So like I don't know, I've got guitars all over the house, and I pick them up, you know,
I relate to
whenever I
that.
can, and I just mess around. And usually, I almost every time I do, I'll come up with something, and I've got a iPhone full of videos of myself playing the guitar.
Great
So I could,
idea, man. Yeah.
well, I have to, otherwise I don't know where my fingers were, like,
Right, right.
um,
No, I've tried the voice memo route, and that is usually really helpful for me when I'm just not at home and I have an idea and I'm like, oh, I just got to remember this lyric because it'll
yep,
trigger something later, or whatever.
yeah, exactly.
And I'll do that. But then, right, there's sometimes I've recorded myself. Oh, okay, I'll totally remember what I just played here on guitar, and then
Mm,
I listen back to it. I'm like, man, I don't even remember what tuning I was in, and oh no, like, and then I completely
yeah.
lose it and can't find it again. So video, that's a great idea. I got to start doing that.
Yeah, it's the way to go. And then, yeah, I'll at some point comb back through and then like heart the ones that I think are worthwhile, because they're not all great. But at the time you're like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's always stuff. There's just always ideas, it seems like.
No,
Yeah.
that's cool. No, thank you for sharing all that about that effort you're working on, as well as the Bird Hand shows that you got coming up, and hopefully a new record there too. And if someone's trying to find kind of where's the central hub out in the internet for Ian Prince, is there like a link tree, or is it a specific Instagram or something that they should look you up if they want to kind of find out more about the different projects you've worked on and things like that?
Well, I do have a Facebook account that I set up just to really promote what I have going on, but I'm not very good at it. Um, Definitely not very diligent. I actually just deleted Facebook from my phone. I don't know.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
but I did put together over the pandemic. I culled some videos, and I have a YouTube channel. That might be, if somebody wants to go watch some videos. There's the Story of the Sea playlist, and Houston, and Get Dakota, and so on.
Cool. If you would, please send me that link. Like if it's
I
a link
will,
specific to
yeah.
YouTube page, because I'll put that up there. I'd love to send people to that. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, cool.
Right on, man. Well, thank you again for coming along and talking about San Diego. Everybody who's listening again, Houston, the band Houston put out the record, The Biggest Shove in Space, on Init Records. It came out September 22nd, 2023, released on all kinds of format, digital, vinyl, cassette, and they have a boatload of merch that they're trying to get rid of too. So make sure you go to Bandcamp and find their stuff. But Ian, again, it's awesome catching up with you, and
Man.
I'll look forward to talking to you soon, man.
Three Crows Club presents B-Side Breakdown.
All right, and that wraps up another episode of the B-Side Breakdown. I want to thank Ian Prince for coming along to talk about the Houston song San Diego. I also want to thank Adam Coulong and Carrie Bozel for helping me put together the jingle you hear at the beginning and the end of this episode. Please subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And in the background, after I stop talking, you're going to hear the song Sunday in December by the band Houston. It comes off of their record Overhead that I think if you go to the initrecords.bandcamp.com, you'll be able to find that album and get it. Or that actually may be on onesimpleband.bandcamp.com, which is Houston's Bandcamp. Anyway, go to both links and buy Houston stuff. Sunday in December is one of my favorite songs ever by them, and I just want to share it with you because I can. So be good, talk soon, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks.